Good morning, everyone. The second Sunday of Trinity, we begin our Trinity Sundays, and the colour is green, as you can see. It's a lovely green, and it's in the middle of the colour spectrum. In other words, it's the colour that sort of represents probably all the colours. You can think of that in that way. And it's the colour that our eyes respond most strongly to. The intent, very fittingly, is God as light. God as light. One of the first of the intents in the Trinity Sundays. As is our usual practice, we get great insights into this intent by looking at the collect first. A Father of light, in whom is no darkness at all. There it is. It just sets the platform, sets the very clear picture. May our hearts be so irradiated by the glory of thy divine love, that we may ever shine as beacons amid the stormy sea of life. When our founding bishops were compiling these collects and looking at a wide range of liturgies from many different parts of the Christian world, older liturgies, contemporary liturgies, from all the different Christian denominations, to try and get it just right, to try and get the words to express exactly what this new expression of Christ's work on earth could do. They chose these words very carefully. And I'm particularly interested in the word irradiated. This word would have meant something slightly different to what we think about it, but then again, not, in an interesting way. May our hearts be so irradiated by thy glory. For those of us living in the 21st century, we know all about radiation. We hear about it in all sorts of different shapes and forms. Some of us have been through the experience of being irradiated. And if you've ever been to the dentist and got an X-ray, so have you. You've been irradiated. This is part of our language. And it means, in that context, irradiation. It's coming from some other source. And I think exactly in this context, it's exactly the same. And take note of what's being considered. That our hearts be so irradiated. So it's not our soul. Our soul comes with a special gift of the Christ within, the strong connection with the Christ. In baptism and confirmation, particularly in confirmation, which we carried as a ceremony through in the tradition this morning with Damien, those channels are opened up, and there's a specific reference in the confirmation service that these opportunities, these means of access to the soul, to the Christ within, is opened up. But this is different. Now we have the concept of the Father illuminating or irradiating the heart. And so the heart itself, from our own side, becomes a beacon. And the collect goes on to say, having experienced this, having requested something from the Father, and the Father always responds if it's done with the right intent. That's all, with the right intent. You don't have to be super duper in any particular direction, clever or otherwise, rich or otherwise, important or otherwise. When you request from the Father with the right intent, the Father responds. So our hearts are irradiated. And so what? We shine then as beacons amid the stormy sea of life. Do we need any lectures on the stormy sea of life? I don't think so. I think all we have to do is keep living, and we realize ups and downs is part of the DNA of life on earth. It's got ups and downs. But here, now, a special admonition is given to us. We requested that our hearts become beacons. But then it goes on that through us, through our interactions, through our walking and talking, through our merely living on earth and going about things in the correct way, the weary and tempest-driven souls may be guided to the haven where they would be. It's a lovely expression. The heart responds to the heart. People sense in us, if our intent is clear, and we just pause for a moment to realize what we're doing when we interact with people. Heart to heart, there is that sure message, guiding people to the haven to rest in the eternal sunlight of thy holy presence. No, not us. We're not saying we're Superman. We've got the answer to everything. No, we've asked for the connection. The connection has been given to us. Our hearts then are set on fire. We don't have to do anything special. We have to be mindful of how we might conduct ourselves with the best intent. And we might also say quietly to ourselves, remembering what the intent is, we might also say, God as light, or God is light within me. Just that. And that's the recognition of where the power is coming from. And so we don't accidentally get ahead of ourselves at one extreme, and we don't accidentally say to ourselves, oh, I don't think I can do this. It's a little bit hard. I don't know whether I'm really qualified to do this. None of that. None of that. We're not asking to be made special. We've requested the connection with the Father. Our hearts are alive and aflame. And we, from our own side, transmit God as light. That's the magic, and that's the power. The epistle, which Matt read this morning, has different examples of how this plays out. It's the general epistle of St. John. That which we have seen and heard, declare we unto you. Truly our fellowship is with the Father. Truly our connection is with the Father and his Son, Jesus Christ. This then is the message we have heard of him, and now we are declaring it to you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. When we're very young, sometimes we get a bit concerned about things in the dark. And simply a light coming on, all those fears disappear. And this is sort of maybe ancient fears or just fear of the unknown. The number one aspect which this message is giving us is God is light in that manifestation. This blazing light, if you like, this light that penetrates all, is everywhere. And if we identify with that aspect of God the Father, that aspect then, the light is always with us. Yes, we might get a bit worried about this, that, and the other thing. But all we have to do is just pause and say, okay, well, I'm reacting this way and I can't control it. But I would like to remember, I wish to represent God as light. I want to do it. That's an aspiration. I am aspiring to be like that. You don't have to succeed every time. You don't have to be the number one example all the time. Just the aspiration opens the heart and brings light into your life. And then from St. John, as usual, we get the highly concentrated message. In each line, we can pause and just rest on it. Jesus is talking. If I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. Here is this beautiful picture of the connection between Jesus the Christ connecting to all of us. If I ascend, you are connected with me. As I progress on my path, you progress with me. As I grow in influence in the universe, you also are connected with me. You also can come on this journey. Very powerful. Yet a little while is the light with you. In other words, I'm physically here. You people have got the easy bit. I'm here, you can see me. And from the senses, from the five senses point of view, you've really got an easy thing here. You can touch me and all the rest of it. The people that come after me have their own journey to achieve. I will be just as real to them if they reach out to me. But all of you people, you disciples and all the other people, wake up and listen to what I'm saying. Walk while you've got the light, lest darkness come upon you. It's a recognition that the world is topsy-turvy and it's not all peaches and cream. It's a recognition that we have to bring it to mind. Bringing things to mind is the most powerful way of every moment, every day, whatever, refreshing the picture that God within us is light. Just bringing it to mind rekindles the light. I commend these thoughts to you, this second Sunday of Trinity, with the intent of God as light, as we begin each session, each Sunday, each week through Trinity, putting these thoughts into practice.